What's up guys, and welcome back to part 2 of how the Warriors saved their dynasty. Like and subscribe to not miss another video. And let's see how the Warriors fail and recover while making bold and smart moves and getting the right pieces to get back into contention again. The Warriors, having gone back-to-back and beating the Cavs 3 times in 4 years, were flying high in confidence and were expecting an easy run to the finals and a three-peat as well. And with LeBron leaving the Cavs to join the weak Lakers, the Warriors were licking their lips at the teams that were going to meet them in the finals. And as well as having 4 All-Stars on their roster, they would add All-NBA big man DeMarcus Cousins to fill their holes at center. And though there was uproar at the decision with Boogie only being on $2 million a year to keep the Warriors from the luxury tax, the Warriors had made these shroud moves before and they wanted to secure a three-peat and complete the dynasty. And as they sleepwalked to the first seed, they would have a first-round matchup with the Clippers. And the Clippers would take the game to the Warriors and surprise them, winning Game 2 and 5 with Warriors' big DeMarcus Cousins still carrying an injury. And it was more of the same as they were surprised but got back onto their feet to beat their longtime rival Rockets in 6.
We're underway with Mark Jackson,
but the Western
Jeff Van
Finals
Gundy, Mike
weren't a
Green
struggle
on hand.
for the super team as they swept Dame's
Vanderbilt
Blazers,
got hit.
seemingly
McCollum
setting
gets it back,
themselves
throws
up
it up,
for
shot
another
rolls
chip.
around and drops.
This is going to be tougher though, with KD day-to-day having damaged his leg during the later rounds. But he would come back for the finals but was forced back out after the injury didn't get any better. But it was as the Warriors were weakened that they went down 3-1 with Kawhi carrying the Raptors with star two-way performances. But it was at this time that KD would come back to try and save his team, but that was the worst thing KD could have done. Though they won the game, KD would tear his Achilles and would be ruled out for another year. And to add insult to injury, the Warriors would then lose sharpshooter Klay Thompson as he tore his ACL and was also sidelined for the next year. And the weakened Warriors were beaten and bruised.
NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada.
Going into free agency, there was a lot up in the air for the future of the Warriors, with stars like Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins testing free agency and other players like Klay Thompson injured. It was first Boogie, who took a $5 million one-year deal to jump ship to the now contending Lakers. This was a surprise as when he signed, Cousins was meant to be seen as the missing piece and the one to prolong the dynasty to extend the Warriors' prime, but with injuries, he was soon useless to the Dubs. But the real big decision was with Kevin Durant. Searching for validation after getting 2 easy championships with the Warriors, KD was looking for a different team to try and build a dynasty and a legacy for himself as a top 5 player of all time. He was either going to head to one of the New York teams, with it seeming like New York at first, with them hoping for former Cavalier Kyrie Irving as well as Durant and hopefully a number 1 pick for them to draft Zion Williamson. But with the Knicks being the Kicks, this didn't happen. And though the Warriors would have liked to re-sign the superstar, the star was injured and the Warriors' massive contracts meant it would have been hard for them to satisfy him.
That got some moves from even.
He would eventually sign with Brooklyn along with Kyrie Irving, and it seemed that in that moment the chances of the Warriors gaining back a championship was slim as ever. But they would end up getting something, as they would get young Brooklyn point guard D'Angelo Russell to try and make up for the hole in the backcourt created by the injury to Klay Thompson. This made skeptical, as come Klay's return it would be hard to fit the 3 guards in their lineup, but Warriors fans were optimistic that the playmaking and shooting of Russell would make him a third Splash Brother and it would make the Warriors a problem come the season after. But it was then time to start the season. The season would start off even worse than the last one, with Steph Curry going down with a season-ending wrist injury on the 4th game of the season as he fell on his hand during a drive to the basket versus the Suns, and it practically ended the Warriors' season there. This meant that the load was now on new guard Russell and defensive juggernaut Draymond Green. And with Russell not really finding his feet on offense and living up to the now huge expectations to carry the Warriors, it was a serious cause of concern for the Dubs. And with Russ not performing, the partnership wouldn't last as midway through the season and not happy with his performance. D'Angelo Russell was shipped off to Minnesota for former number 1 pick Andrew Wiggins. He was a shifty two-way wing who had struggled to find his feet in the league, but because of his potential, the Warriors took a chance on him and granted D'Angelo his wish, sending him to Minnesota. And as the coronavirus hit and the season prematurely ended and then went into the bubble, the Warriors were not invited and ended the season with only 15 wins. But because of the Warriors' dire performance in the last season, they were granted the second pick in the draft and subsequently got to draft Memphis center James Wiseman, who was another big man who was looking to give the Warriors some much-needed inside presence. He was touted as the future of the franchise, and with his menacing frame and prowess around the rim, there was no question for Warriors that he was going to carry them into their future. They would also have two-time MVP Steph Curry come back to improve the Warriors, and as well as the huge development the Warriors had with role players having elevated roles forcing them to shine. But though we were also meant to see the emergence of Klay Thompson to get the big three back together. We learned of Thompson knee collapsing and him being forced to miss another promising season of Warriors basketball. And because of the lack of Klay Thompson, Steph would carry the Warriors with a career high of 32 points, with him doing anything he could to get the Warriors into the game, with them winning 6 straight to finish the season. And with Wiseman not living up to potential and getting injured during the season, it was another cause for concern for the Warriors, as it seemed to be that Steph was the only competent player on the court. They would finish in the 9th seed and they would get into the play-in, in hopes of making it into the playoffs and carrying on their late-season push. But it wasn't to be, as with defenses being solely focused on stopping Steph. The Warriors would lose both of their play-in games and would again end up in the lottery. Golden State would have a big summer on their hands, with Steph only getting older and key pieces coming back like Klay Thompson and others thriving like Jordan Poole, Gary Payton II and Kevin Looney. The Warriors would be much improved his season, with the whole team coming back and seemingly better than ever. They would end up with Wiggins and Curry being all-stars, and Wiggins especially shining with his exceptional defense, which earned him a start in the All-Star game. They would end the 3rd seed and would have a match-up with the Denver Nuggets and MVP Nikola Jokic. This would not be a challenge for the Warriors, and they took the series in a gentleman's sweep, with even the best player in the league not being able to stop the Warriors' juggernaut. They would then book themselves a date with the Grizzlies, who they had developed a rivalry with. The brash young Grizzlies had something to prove during that season and went after the Warriors, claiming they were a dynasty and trashing the Warriors for being old. The Warriors would win the first and then go up 3-1 before taking the series and silencing the young dynasty. They then had to try and get over the Luka-led Mavs. They would take the first, and the rest of the series was a bit of a breeze, with them taking the series in 5 and getting into the finals for the first time in 3 years. This was a big one for the Warriors, with them not having KD and having been ruled out for ages. They felt it was their moment. They would lose the first in a pull-away win from the Celtics before they would trade wins up until it was tied at 2-2. This was when the Warriors would take the next, with Steph dropping 43 and winning the game. And with the Celtics tired from 2 straight Game 7s, the Warriors would take Game 6 as Curry finally got his Finals MVP. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Steph is running into the front court. Draymond finds him, another 3. Got it! 62! 62! And he actually surpasses his buddy Klay Thompson.
They're looking for him too. Draymond Green, of course, his boy. Where's he at? Handoff. That is a tough shot too. Gary Trent right at him.
Looney will track it down. Steph one more time for the advantage. Good!
good. If at first you don't succeed, you know what they say. Try again. Nobody. It should have been Gobert, but you got so much space. Look where Gobert is. He's the only one that's supposed to be guarding this screen.
Now, Kevon Looney has double-digit rebounds in 3 straight games. He had never done that.